Welcome back, guys, to Ace Attorney Investigations 2, Prosecutors Gambit, where last episode, with Miss Scone brought into the Autumn Wing to talk about the poisonous gas that was made, being a pharmacist working for the company that makes Infesticize Ultra, we ended up deducing the method of the gas's release and Gusto's possible movements that led up to his collapse, deciding in the end that only Miss Bound may have had the means to set this all up. However, on leaving the room, we entered the fountain room only to discover a body floating within, another victim, which has brought us back 18 years ago once more to the IS-7 incident, with Detective Bad now joining up with us to find the truth and sharing with us some evidence. This is what Frost's room looks like right now. Yikes, there's nothing left of his flavoured ice sculptures but puddles. The floor appears to be completely covered in a pale blue liquid. I should compare this with the photo I just borrowed from Miss Bound. I assume that the unplugged power cord has something to do with all of this. Yeah, once that was out of the socket, the display case has lost power, and up the temperature went. Looks like they were all connected to the same power strip. Do you have any idea when it was unplugged? Nope, still working on that. Those sculptures were beautiful. What a waste. You could say that again. I should have taken a few more bites out of them while I had the chance. Did you eat the strings? So they tasted good. Did they ever? I've never tried ices so scrumptious in all my life. Really, man? I wish I could have had a bite. Well, scrumptious except for the salty bit, of course. That was unbearable. The salty bit. It's in the other photo you've got there. This bit. The harpy thing? Gemini's lyre. Wait, that's why I had no strings? Because you ate them. I didn't eat that much, you cheeky little devil. I told you it was all horrible and salty. The salt melts ice. Right? It's interesting that only one particular part of this one particular sculpture tasted different from the rest. And could somebody other than Miss Scone really be responsible for eating the rest of the strings? Did you notice anything else, Miss Scone? Come to think of it, I did. There was a funny little mark on Chili Wink's work. It was 2 little letters. Let me see if I can draw it for you. There we go. Yes, it looked just like that. It's almost like a signature or something. Wait. I just knew Mr. Frost wouldn't have made that heart without strings. He's not the type to skip an important detail like that. I hope you don't mind me asking, Miss Bound. But are you certain you didn't know Mr. Frost particularly well? What? No, I barely knew him, I swear. Is that so? You certainly seem to have some strong opinions about his attitude towards his work. No, I just... The sculptures were so carefully made, I didn't think he'd miss something so important. I'm sorry, but I don't believe you. You have a more personal connection to his work than that. What makes you say that? I have an item of evidence that appears to have been one of Mr. Frost's possessions, and it shares a key feature with another piece of evidence. Well, I don't know what you're talking about if you don't share. So what are these 2 pieces of evidence of yours? Which 2 items point to Mr. Frost? This is the first. I seriously don't know. Because I don't know what it's getting at here. I mean, this is a photo, so I don't think that actually counts. So that's not a good start. We can see everything plugged in. We can see that out. Just looking through, trying to now figure out anything that's going on. The mansion key, wasn't it? Very fingermarks on it. But yeah. Trying to get rid of certain things is probably a better shot than anything. I mean, there's 2 things that are related due to this marker. Oh, is it just because that thing was found there? Okay, so look, the dead body that we found was in with this seal. The seal that was found near the body when it was discovered. What could the design signify? And then, of course, we have Mr. Tangaroa's teapot. There was a Paul Halik piece. Is it Artie Frost, not Artie Frost, but Paul Halik? Is there some relationship there to make these the same thing? Of course, it's like her kind of tea set that she likes quite a lot. So if that was true, I'm not exactly sure how we leap from A to B on that line, but still, I have a feeling it might be these two things?
Take that!
And now the second. Just because they're the two that are actually related to each other.
Take that!
Miss Scone found 2 letters carved into Mr. Frost's ice sculptures. I think they were a signature of sorts. After all, it's not unusual for an artist to initial their work. I guess not. That's right, dear. It's just like you said. Chillywink statues had the letters PH carved in them, plain as day. PH? Shouldn't it be AF? That was the real stumping point, wasn't it? You'd think so, but take a look at this. It's a seal we found at the crime scene. It seems reasonable to assume that it fell from Mr. Frost's pocket. And when pressed into the surface of an item, it would leave behind the letters PH. The same pottery mark we see imprinted on the bottom of the items in the tea set. The same pottery mark? We have already established that the tea set is the work of the sculptor Paul Halik. From that, we can assume that these same letters would mark any item out as a piece of his work. A fact of which you are well aware, correct, Miss Bound? Well, yes, I know that he always marks his work with initials like that. He's never revealed his true identity in public, so it's the only way to know his works are truly his. Well, there we go. We found his identity. We found Dead Sea. You mean Paul Elite was... That's right, Detective. Artie Frost had another identity. He was no ordinary confectioner, at least as far as Miss Bound was concerned. But you see, Mr. Frost was in fact... an extraordinary confectioner! A famed sculptor. Mr. Frost was in fact none other than famed sculptor Paul Halik. What? Mr. Frost and Paul Halik were the same person? But it's not on the mark's hard to copy, though. Anyone who's seen it can fake being him with it. Not exactly conclusive proof that Frost was who you say he was. It's proof enough for Miss Bound. What matters is that she believed it. His true identity will have to be investigated by the good people of the precinct. Alright. I'll have the boys look into it. I should have known I couldn't hide it from you, Mr. Edgeworth. To admit it, you were aware of who Mr. Frost really was. I was. When I discovered his body, I saw the seal you found. Don't ask me how, but I just knew straight away that he was my dear Paul Halik. Imagine, his entries in a confectionery contest were his final legacy. A great man like that. And be honest, did you enter Mr. Frost's room at any point? What? Why are you asking me that? The photograph of Mr. Frost's room. I'd like to know when it was taken. It's... I must have gotten it mixed up with the one Samson took during the judging.
Objection!
I'm afraid I find that rather hard to believe. You said yourself that the camera ran out of film during the judging, and that you've had charge of the camera since before Mr. Tangaroa had the chance to visit Mr. Frost's room. That's how you were able to take that picture when you discovered Mr. Frost's body. I suppose so. This suggests that you took only 2 pictures with the new film. One of Mr. Frost's body and one of his room. But I have a piece of evidence that says otherwise. You do? Which piece of evidence contradicts the assumption that Miss Bound only took 2 pictures? I guess just the amount of pictures that were taken. Can't be the picture itself. Surely?
Take that!
The camera! You gave the picture of the body to the police and picture of Mr. Frost's room to me. Oh, and you gave us that picture you took of me and Mr. Edgeworth too. 3 photographs in total, and yet the film cartridge in this camera only has 3 exposures remaining. Out of a total of 20. You took more pictures, and I want to know what of. I'll need to see all the photos you took. Perhaps then we'll finally learn what you were really up to. I'm so sorry. I confess, I've been lying to you. These are all shots of Frost's room. I'm so sorry. Looks like she took pictures of his work from every possible angle. And when they were taken, the ice still hadn't melted yet. Wait, don't tell me it was you. It was. At least, I'm pretty sure it was. You are? Why? Well, you see, I'm a huge fan of Mr. Halik's work, as you know. I was petrified that they might be ruined, what with the investigation that was going on and everything. So I thought I should at least capture the sculptures on film for posterity. And? How did that make them melt? I think perhaps I was so intent on getting the perfect photographs that I might have tripped over the paracord without noticing. By mistake? Are you sure? I didn't notice it at the time, but, well, how could I have been so careless as to cause the loss of his final masterpieces? That seems a little convenient to me. I'm not sure I believe it, but I'm not in a position to refute it either. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cause any trouble. Please, don't worry about it. The important thing is that you told us the truth. What you said. No hard feelings, Miss Bound. Thank you. Mr. Edgeworth. Picture's yours. Hope it helps. Mr. Frost's room has been updated in the court record. 2 photos, one from Bound and one from Detective Bad. Oh no, the voice of throat killage. Are you infernal nuisances still here? You don't know when to give up. Linger for as long as you like. The answer is still the same. You are not part of this investigation. Whether we're part of it or not, we'll uncover the truth nonetheless. It seems you don't know when to shut up either, but I commend you on your stubbornness. Mr. Von Karma, I'm afraid I'm the one responsible for Mr. Frost's work melting. What? What is the meaning of this? I'm so sorry, and to you, Mr. Gusto. No concern of mine. I didn't do anything, and Mr. Von Karma agrees. Nothing at all, Mr. Gusto. You went into Mr. Frost's room, didn't you? Perhaps you could tell us why. Sure, I was... Silence! You are not to give the attorney even the tiniest shred of information. Judy Bound, you're coming with me. I have reason to believe that you are an accomplice of the accused, Samson Tangaroa. No, I will be interrogating you personally. You had better get your story in order. I understand. Wait, please, I'm not done questioning her myself. And you think I care because... Bad, Gusto, and you, Scone. I have questions for all of you, and I expect answers. Fine by me. Oh, you could at least ask nicely, mannequins. He took literally everyone with him. Indeed. Well, I suppose that means there's little point in us hanging around either. Perhaps it's time we got going anyway. It is rather late. I hope the snow has let up. You're right, home time. Guess my stomach's in agreement too. Alright, let's go grab a burger before my own stomach starts grumbling too. Hey, sounds good to me. Let's eat up and rest up. We'll need to be fine fit for tomorrow. We will indeed. And our first port of call will be with Mr. Tangaroa. We to be continued all the time now. Does that mean we're moving to a new day? Does it mean we're moving to the present? We don't know at the moment. Let's find out. It's Christmas. Hey, it's Miss Bound. Oh, Mr. Fender. Mr. Edgeworth. I'm so sorry about what happened yesterday. She looks rather tired. Has Mr. Von Karma finished interrogating you? Yes. We really only seemed interested in how I melted those sculptures. Are you here to see Mr. Tangaroa too? Yes. I'm terribly worried about him. Detective Bad, what are you doing back there? Oh, just happened to be here. I'll be heading back to the scene soon. Not sure how anyone just happens to be at a detention center, but okay. Good morning. Mr. Tangaroa, what happened to you? Oh no, Samson. What did they do to you? They didn't seem to want to let me sleep. I had no idea interrogations could be so involved. Sorry if I seem distracted. I think I'm a little tired. They're not letting you sleep. That's not police work, that's torture. What's going on here, Detective Bad? I'm not the one doing the interviewing. It's the guy they put on the case before me. I like Von Karma's methods about as much as you do, which is why I'm doing what I can to help. It was Detective Bad who got me out of there. I'd still be in that interrogation room right now, if it weren't for him. Huh. Detective Bad really is trying to look out for Mr. Tangaroa in his own way, it seems. Alright, Eddie. Let's share yesterday's findings with Mr. Tangaroa. You got it, Mr. E. My notepad is at the ready. Mr. Tangaroa, we found out quite a bit if you'd like to hear it. Of course, Thank you. Are you alright, Mr. Tangaroa? You seem kinda spaced out. I'm fine. I think my blood sugar might be running a little low. Samson! Do we have anything that might give him a little energy boost? Can we pass anything through? Well, I think I know what we got. It was literally described as the same. Rather misshapen and incredibly sweet. I mean, we could try to ask you something first. Mr. Tangaroa? You're kind of swaying all over the place. I'm sorry. Like I said, I think my blood sugar might be running a little low. Do we have anything that might give him a little energy boost? I guess we are giving you it. Hopefully Bad will pass it over. Huh? Is that chocolate? For me? Oh, those are the chocolates I wish I could just give them to you, Mr. Tangaroa. The rules here don't exactly allow me to do so. Oh, that's a shame. But rules are rules, I suppose. Come on, Bad. There must be some way we can hand them to him. I hope Detective Bad is noting the meaningful looks in his direction. Let me take a look at them. If they seem legit, I might consider passing them on to the suspect. Thank you, Detective Bad. My hero! I'm touched. Thank you, Detective. Yeah, whatever. Just sit tight. Here. You don't know how much this means to me. Yeah. Keep it down, will ya? For both of our sakes. Of course, Detective. I wouldn't wish to put your livelihood at risk. Now, to sample these treats. Detective, I apologize for putting you in a tight spot. I didn't do it for you. It was my call. Guess you're not such a bad guy after all. Oh, the sweetness. I feel like a man reborn. Were they your handiwork, Judy? Yes, how were they? Feel the melt. Soft and smooth. Chocolate that'll comfort and soothe. I was wondering if his hair would come back at this rate. Ear to ear. Head to toe. Smile and savor the taste as it flows. Always a thing. To bite chocolate or to suck chocolate? What do you do? Prolong or chomp? Prolong or chomp? What do you choose? Delicious. They're not exactly beautiful, but they're sweet and oh so flavorful. Thank you, Judy. I'm so glad you like them. No more singing. And I'm glad you're back to your old self. My apologies, friends. The food they serve is just so flavorless. Between that and the lack of sleep, I was about ready to collapse from sheer despair. Wow, is the food here really all that bad? Just the usual. French fries, ham sandwich, stuff like that. Yes, and yet I couldn't taste a thing. Anyway, I'm heading back to the scene. Before you go, Detective, do you have any new information to share? Oh, yeah. You're right about the victim's identity. Frost worked as a sculptor in France, where he was known as Paul Halik. Artie Frost was Paul Halik. I never would have imagined. Poor Mr. Halik. So the famous French sculptor wasn't a Frenchman after all, huh? This all would certainly explain why Mr. Halik was such a recluse and refused to show his face in public. He was busy working on his greatest masterpiece, apparently. Bunch of Zodiac statues. Guess he'll never finish them now. He never finished his greatest masterpiece? Nah, seems he was making statues for each season. But he never got around to the winter constellations. The winter constellations? You mean Taurus and Gemini? The two he made out of ice would have completed the set. Yeah, now they're nothing but puddles. What a bummer. I'm so sorry. Oh no, Miss Bound, I wasn't blaming you. One last thing. Seems he had himself a bit of a spending habit when it came to his work. Every statue cost him millions to make. Which means he was always strapped for cash. We're checking to see if there's any chance someone caught in a debt. I guess not even famous artists are safe from money problems. Do you have any idea why he entered the confectionery contest? None. Guy didn't even tell his family. I see. Alright, I really gotta get going. I'll go fetch another guard, but I can't be hanging around here any longer. Understood, Detective. We'll see you again shortly. He's a good man. He certainly is. And an uncompromising one. Somebody who can be trusted to stand up for what he believes in. And to scare the pants off of anybody new he meets. Now, you were going to tell me about what you learned yesterday. Of course. Allow me to give you a full report. Thank you for that, and allow me to apologize on Judy's behalf. I'm so sorry. It's fine, Mr. Tangaroa. As I told you yesterday, the important thing is that we learn the truth in the end. Now, would you mind if I ask you a question or two? By all means, I'll gladly share all that I can. So, about the contestants then. What can you tell me about the contestants who took part in the final round of the contest? Let's see. There was Miss Scone. I loved her design concept. Unfortunately, her entry was in violation of the rules, and so I had to disqualify her. Mr. Gusto's creations were a perfect balance of flavor and design, at least up through the semi-final. But disappointingly, his entry for the final was subpar on both counts. Oh? And there was actually something a little unusual about his entry for the semi-final as well. Which was... it tasted identical to Mr. Frost's. They may have looked different, but I could have sworn I was eating the same thing. Huh. What exactly did his work look like? Oh, there should be a photograph back in my mansion. I'll show it to you later, Mr. Edgeworth. Much appreciated, Miss Bound. But Mr. Frost's entry for the finals, that was truly sublime. Ah, so you were able to finish judging it, even though his body had been discovered in the meantime. Yes, I wasn't aware of what had happened until after I'd completed my assessment. Mr. Frost wasn't in his room when I visited, so I took the liberty of sampling of it. Part of the lyre, I believe. I'd never tasted anything like it. It was like a dream. I was so moved that I burst into song. I'm sorry, but are you saying that the lyre tasted good? I'd like to hear more about that if you don't mind. You're quite sure it was the lyre you tasted when you sampled Mr. Frost's work? I'm certain of it. It was part of the Gemini sculpture, which was the only sculpture in that display case. Mr. Tangaroa, would you mind taking a look at this photograph for me? So the part you tried was the lyre, the one shown here without any strings. Oh, there were strings originally. That was the part I ate. So the strings were missing because Mr. Tangaroa ate them all, and he enjoyed them. Miss Scone told us she ate a part of the lyre as well, but she said it was far too salty for her to finish. Then it's true! The truth is, I've suspected for a while that there might be something wrong with my sense of taste. Something wrong? How so exactly? There's a taste disorder characterized by an inability to detect salty flavors. And I suspect I've been suffering from it. I eat so many sweet foods on a daily basis that it took a while for me to even notice. But there's no denying it now. That would explain why the food here seems so bland to him. What? But your taste buds are your livelihood! Even if there was some long-term treatment option, I highly doubt a total cure for your condition exists. Nevertheless, you should put in a request to the police for a proper evaluation. Oh, that won't be necessary. I have a recipe for a cure back in my mansion. You do? I do. You can take a look at it for yourself if you like. Samson, we can't show that recipe to just anybody. Judy, Mr. Edgeworth is hardly just anybody. He's my attorney, and I have no secrets from him. Yes, you're right, of course. If that is what you wish. What on earth is this secret recipe for a miracle cure that they've been hiding? Well, I suppose I should be getting back. Alright, we'll be right behind you. Judy? Yes, Samson? There's more to life than just me. Please, Judy, think about the life you want to live. Because I won't always be around. Don't say that. Without you, I don't have a life to live. So I'll be waiting, right there at the mansion, until you come home. Now, if you'll excuse me. Wait, Miss Bound. Judy. Whoa, she seemed really upset. I thought I saw tears in her eyes. Why did you even say all that to her? Because I worry about her. She can't keep putting my needs ahead of her own. What do you mean? The Halik collection, the candy making. It's all because she thinks these things will make me happy. She never thinks about what she wants, what she likes. I just want her to be her own person, to choose her own destiny. The last thing I want is for her to miss out on all of what life has to offer because of me. I guess that makes sense. He really does see her as his own child. What parent wouldn't want their child to walk their own path? And what parent wouldn't do everything they could to protect them? I know exactly how he feels in this moment. I think I've asked of you everything I can for now, Mr. Tangaroa. We should be getting back to the scene of the crime. Oh, you're leaving? I see. I suppose I'll be going back to the interrogation room for another session. Yes. We'll have to do something about that. You'll speak to the police for me? That too, but I'll be putting something else in place as well. An ace up our sleeve for when the time comes. I look forward to learning more. I'm counting on you, Mr. Edgeworth. We'll be back to brief you, Mr. Tangaroa, every day. And Judy too. Thank you, Eddie. I look forward to it. Mr. Tangaroa, your interrogator will do everything in his power to extract a confession from you. I hate to see an innocent man suffer like this. But please, you have to do everything you can to hold out. If you can't, Mr. Von Karma will use that confession against you for as long as this case lasts. And it will make it that much harder for me to save you. I understand, and I'll try. I won't give up until you're out of there, Mr. Tangaroa. You have my word on that. And so we move back to investigate the scene yet again. Though what? It feels weird because, of course, we've done it in multiple things. We've been in every room, but not in every time. So I guess that leaves us quite a bit more to check out of the area. But to be honest, before we start a new sequence afresh, it's probably a best time to end an episode here and start it for the next one. So with that said and done, with Bad investigating away, hopefully that guy doesn't fall in the fountain. And I'm wondering if there's going to be another death at this point in time, but who would it be? Just to link things up even more. Plus, was the body in the fountain definitely dead? I mean, we've not 100% got a confirmation, but I think it's 99% sure. Autopsy reports are coming. When will we move back? Who knows as we move on with Ace Investigators 2 Prosecutors Gambit next time. Join me then for more. Until that time, I say bye-bye.